it has been the Israeli strategy for at least the last decade to basically dismantle the tunnels and to eradicate the rockets. And they actually call it mowing the lawn every couple of years. The thing is, this siege now, the former ambassador to the U.S. from Israel, Michael Oren, is basically saying the U.S. should help Israel eradicate Hamas. I think that is a false premise. The more you bomb Gaza, you're never going to eliminate the resistance there. In fact, you will increase the resistance. More rockets can be acquired, more tunnels can be built. And so in getting a ceasefire, I think they have to get to the point where the Israelis are willing to lift, as Pat said, some of the conditions that they've imposed on Gaza.
Yeah, right. Okay. Welcome to Give Me Five. Eleanor Clift, the same person who said that our ambassador in Benghazi was not murdered. He died of smoke inhalation. Remember that context I'm setting for you there. All right, folks, more from Eleanor Clift on the McLaughlin Group.
The Israelis apparently want to be able to leave troops along the border. I don't know if that's reasonable or not to militarize the border, but you've got to give Gaza something in return for that, and I gather that's what they're negotiating along these lines.
Yeah, you got to give the terrorist Hamas something, right, because they started a war. Like Al-Qaeda started with us, and if Al-Qaeda made demands on us, Eleanor Clift would be saying, you got to give them something, right? You can't just keep shooting at them. You got to give them something. Here's more.
Hamas is another word for the Muslim Brotherhood. The Muslim Brotherhood and Hamas have no sympathy for Israel on any level, and the Israelis know it. They know that they have been threatened by these people forever, and they will continue to be threatened by them. This is not a group where you can deal with them in any kind of serious way. The Israelis think the only way they can deal with them is to make it clear that if they do this, there's going to be enough of a reaction, enough pain inflicted upon them, that they will defer from doing this at least for some serious period of time. That's what the Israelis are all about.
You go, Mort. You go. Mort understands what's going on here. It is just day after day. Again, I don't know if it's hatred of Jews or hatred of Zionists or hatred of Israel or rooting for the underdog, even if they're terrorists who kill civilians on purpose. I don't know what it is, but I feel like I'm living in an alternate universe. Here's more from the McLaughlin Group.
There's a real risk for the Israelis as well, because with the Europeans and others' world opinion, except the United States, of sanctions and disinvestment, and the Palestinians going to the UN, getting them sanctioned as alleged war criminals and all that. So there is a losses for the Israelis as well as, but the Palestinians are being hammered.
Do you know about the tunnels?
Yes, I do. The tunnels.
How many miles of tunnels are underground?
The Israelis have every reason to be frightened of tunnels that are 3 miles long coming out of Gaza into Israel more than the ones going into Egypt.
Yeah, there are some going into Egypt as well. Oh, here's Eleanor Clift again, in case you missed her.
No one is questioning Israel's right to defend itself and to have security, but the use of force now has become disproportionate, and they are inflaming on the West Bank too. There was a peaceful demonstration there of 10,000 people. I think Israel has to ask itself, even if you do eradicate Hamas, what takes its place? It would just be another version of Hamas.
Right, so why didn't we sit down and talk to Al-Qaeda and bring Osama to the White House? Because, now we got ISIS out of Al-Qaeda. So we should have let Al-Qaeda just cut a deal with them. I'm sure Eleanor Clift would have liked that more.
Israel's weak point is world opinion.
That's right.
And what's fueling world opinion?
Whatever happens, this is something that has happened over and over again. This is not the first time this has happened. Whenever Israel tries to retaliate and to try and deal with Hamas, at some point the world says Israel cannot do this.
Why?
Why? Because they don't want to have any fighting.
Because
they don't
they're dead children.
I'll tell you what's going to cause...
And because they're dead children. Eleanor Clift. I know, we've never killed children in a war. Nobody's ever killed children in a war. Only the big bad Jews of Israel killed children in a war. More.
I'll tell you what's going to cause them serious problems, and that is the disproportionate casualty rate. It's horrible.
Yes, without question, these things are disproportionate, but the Israelis cannot live under the continued threats that they have had from the Hamas people, from the Muslim Brotherhood people.
You don't think world opinion is going to assemble itself?
No, I think it is assembling itself. That's exactly the issue, that Israel is a constraint.
The heck with world opinion on the Steve Malzberg Show.